Folks say, give up bread. They're half right.
It's not the bread our grandparents knew that we need to fear. It's what bread has become.
We planted wheat like a prayer. Today, it's just another product on the shelf.
Bread built civilizations. Now it's quietly breaking bodies. Are you ready for the truth?
We trusted bread. We broke it at weddings, funerals, Friday night suppers. It was the staff of life, the symbol of everything shared and sacred. And then, in less than a century, mass production, marketing, and shortcuts turned that gift into something that quietly undermines our health. In this story, we'll walk from ancient stone mills to gleaming factory lines. We'll separate the imposters from the originals with clear science and real citations you can check yourself. I'll share 2 moments from my own life that changed how I see a simple slice. By the end, you'll know exactly which loaf to reach for and how to bring real bread back to your table, the way it was always meant to be. 10,000 years ago, bread wasn't comfort. It was survival. The first farmers knelt in the dust, grinding wild emmer between stones, mixing it with water, baking it over fire. That flat, dense loaf was the beginning of community. Breaking bread meant peace. But somewhere between the hand plow and the steel roller, the miracles slipped away. We bleached the grain. We rushed the rise. We traded nourishment for shelf life. The crust stayed golden, but the heart was gone. What once fed empires now fuels inflammation, blood sugar swings, and fatigue. So how did the food that sustained humanity for millennia become the villain on so many doctors' charts? Let's follow the crumbs, back to the beginning. In ancient Egypt, grain was taxed like gold. Roman legions marched on barley loaves. Every culture had its daily bread, baked fresh, shared warm, alive with wild yeast. Then came the 1800s. Steel rollers replaced stone. White flour became a status symbol, light, airy, stripped of bran and germ. The wealthy ate refined. The poor kept the whole grain. By the 20th century, we engineered the ultimate convenience. Pre-sliced, pre-packaged, preserved for weeks. Enriched, fortified, embalmed. We kept adding synthetic vitamins to a corpse and called it progress. The staff of life had become the stuff of quarterly earnings. But something beautiful is rising again. In small bakeries from Vermont to Oregon and home kitchens across the heartland, people are slowing down, grinding whole grains by hand, letting wild yeast work, waiting, sometimes 2 days, for dough to ferment the old way. You can smell it before you see it, the tang of true fermentation that wakes ancestral memory. This isn't a trend, it's a return, not retro, restored. Bread, humble and honest again, alive. Before we break bread together again, stay with me. By the time we reach number 1, you'll know a loaf that keeps you fuller longer and treats your blood sugar gently. Let's slice through the confusion. 6 common breads, ranked from worst to best. As we climb, the ingredients simplify, the science strengthens, and the body says thank you. Number 6, white sandwich bread, Wonder style, enriched. That soft, squishy slice, pure nostalgia and nutritional emptiness. Refined flour, sugar, dough conditioners, sprayed on vitamins after the real ones were milled away. On many glycemic index scales, white bread is used as the reference food at 100. On glucose reference scales, it still ranks high. Fast spikes, hard crashes. It's not bread, it's sweetened air in plastic wrap. Number 5, honey wheat, 12 grain, and enriched wheat loaves. The great grocery deception. Brown color, rustic font, promises of whole grain. Flip the label. First ingredient, enriched wheat flour. USDA and Tufts analyses show many multigrain breads are 60 to 70% refined. Label truth hack. If the first grain isn't 100% whole wheat or whole grain, it's mostly refined. And wheat flour is not whole wheat. It's cosplay, wholesome outside, hollow within. Number 4, burger buns, Kaiser rolls, Hawaiian sweetbread. Engineered for mouthfeel, not health. Emulsifiers like datem and monoglycerides, seed oils, and sugar keep them soft for weeks. Classified as ultra-processed, foods built for sweetness and shelf life that nudge overeating and flatten satiety. If your bread survives a cross-country drive, it's not food, it's chemistry. Number 3, 100% whole wheat, commercial whole grain. Now we're in honest territory. Bran and germ intact, fiber, magnesium, B vitamins restored. Glycemic index around 50 to 55 if sugar is low. Large cohort studies associate higher intact whole grain intake with about 20 to 30% lower risk of type 2 diabetes. But most loaves use fast yeast and short proofs. Phytic acid stays high, blocking minerals. Better, but still impatient. Whole, not alive. Number 2. True sourdough, naturally fermented. 4 ingredients: flour, water, salt, thyme. Long wild fermentation can lower post-meal glucose by 10 to 25% in controlled meals, and it degrades phytic acid, freeing iron and zinc. It can also reduce FODMAPs for some people. I remember a tiny bakery in San Francisco's Mission District. The baker, flour in his beard, hands like oak, pulled a loaf from a 1920s oven. "This starter," he said, "is 42 years old." I took one bite and tasted thyme. Starters don't just rise dough, they carry memory across generations. Number 1. Sprouted organic whole grain bread. The summit. Grains soaked, sprouted, ground whole, enzymes activated, anti-nutrients neutralized. A 2021 study found about 30% more bioavailable magnesium, higher folate, and a lower glycemic load than unsprouted whole wheat. Sprouting raises amino acid availability. When blended with legumes, it approaches a complete protein. When I switched to sprouted bread, something shifted. No more 3 p.m. crashes. No more craving the sweet stuff. One slice with olive oil and sea salt, and I was full, body and soul. It felt like the bread was saying, "I remember you." From the ghost of wonder to the wisdom of sprouted grain, this is the story of bread. And the story of us. Convenience hollowed it. Patience makes it whole again. Here's how to welcome real bread back, without guilt or guesswork. Choose wisely, sourdough or sprouted. 1 or 2 slices, not filler, fuel. Pair well, avocado, olive oil, almond butter, a soft-boiled egg. Avoid the traps. Skip jelly, processed meats, margarine. Revive the ritual. Dust off that bread machine. Use organic grains. Let it rise overnight. One homemade loaf changes everything. You don't need much, just real. Bread began as a gift from the earth. We turned it into a product. But knowledge, like dough, ferments in the dark and rises. You hold the power now. Check the label. If the first words are flour, water, salt, thyme, you're feeding your body. If it's corn syrup, conditioners, preservatives, you're feeding someone else's profit. Break bread wisely, friend. The truth is in your hands. What bread do you eat most? Tell us below. Subscribe to Senior Zone for straight talk wellness that respects your time and your health.